Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back in today with another fantasy football video. In today's video, we're going over the Week 8 quarterback rankings. I go through rankings 1 through 20 at the quarterback position for Week 8. Now, before I get to the video, I'd like to give you guys a word from my sponsor, OverlayDFS.com. Alright, guys, so how Overlay DFS works is all you have to do is make 12 simple start-sit decisions. Are you going to go with Russell Wilson versus Deshaun Watson, Jared Goff, or Tom Brady? Who is going to score the most points in that matchup? All you got to do is make 12 picks. It is that simple. So now I'm going to go about how I do it. What I typically do is I like to go for games in here where there are stacks. So say in this game, you see at the wide receiver position, I think DeAndre Hopkins scores more than Michael Thomas, per se. So I go with Deshaun Watson as well. Now you have stacked them. It's like in those other DFS sites where you stack the players. I'm going to stack those players because I believe they are going to do great together. Now, with this, I'm going to make a total of 12 total picks plus 3 alternate picks. Now, the way this works is it used to be a single entry GPP. Now, in these, you can add up to 10 maximum entries, and the top 10% win 9 times your buy-in. It is actually amazing. And then if you hit that beautiful 12 and oh, you can get the progressive bonus in the $2 game of over $3,000. Now, if you're playing in some of those bigger games, the progressive bonus is over $27,000. That is going to be huge for you to hit if you can hit that, and I think you can. Now, you guys are going to come play against me, come compete with me. Let's see who's smarter, me or you. Likely is going to be you. So let's play together. Let's hit that 12 and 0 record bonus there, and the stars are going to align, and it's going to be amazing for you. Let's have some fun this week. Check out overlaydfs.com, link down below in the description. You're going to have a great time. Play the rest of the video now. And we are back. Make sure to check out overlaydfs.com, link down below in the description. They're a great website and great friends of mine. I play on it every single week. Let's get right into the video. Week 8 quarterback rankings. At number 1, we have Russell Wilson going against the Atlanta Falcons. And I know. The Falcons defense is terrible. So to me, this is an easy spot to put Russell Wilson at number 1. Russell Wilson has been playing phenomenal, lights out all year. There's a reason that he is one of the top guys that you look at when you're looking at the MVP race. He may end up winning the MVP of the league this year. In real life, in fantasy football, he's probably been an MVP for your team because of how well he has been playing. I got him at the number 1 spot this week against the Atlanta Falcons. At number 2, we have Mr. Deshaun Watson going against the Oakland Raiders. Now, the Raiders defense last week got absolutely skull-fucked by Aaron Rodgers. 5-6 touchdowns. It was some crazy type of touchdown production there. Deshaun Watson could do the same thing this week through the air and with his legs. And number 3, we have the amazing performance last week of Aaron Rodgers going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Aaron Rodgers is going to absolutely eviscerate the Kansas City Chiefs just like he did to the Oakland Raiders. Aaron Rodgers has been playing phenomenal the last couple of weeks. He's been getting back to that Aaron Rodgers that we know and we love. At the beginning of the season, he was playing like Aaron Rodgers if he was, I don't even know how to describe it. He just wasn't playing like himself. He needed a Snickers, and he found that Snickers, and he ate it, and now he's playing like the true Aaron Rodgers. And number 4, we have Mr. Matty Snapback Matthew Stafford going up against the New York Football Giants. And I know one thing about the New York Football Giants, and that is that they are not good. Matthew Stafford has been playing lights out the last couple of weeks, putting up huge numbers in fantasy football. I think this week against the New York Football Giants, that is no difference. He plays exactly just as well as the last couple of weeks. I think Matt Stafford's in for a huge game this week against the Giants. At number 5, we have Josh Allen going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Josh Allen last week had a pretty decent game. Now, I know his schedule is cupcake. It is an easy schedule the next couple of weeks, and this game is nothing different than that. The Philadelphia Eagles. There's no fucking Philip on that team, but Philadelphia Eagles have not been playing that well on defense. Every single person on that team is getting shot by a sniper because it seems like their defense is completely dead, and Josh Allen is going to bury them this weekend in Buffalo. At number 6, we have Jared Goff going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I know a couple of weeks ago, Jared Goff was not playing up to his expectations. People were cutting him. People were making very rash decisions on Jared Goff. Now, some other people may have owned Jared Goff. Now they picked him up, and Jared Goff has been playing lights out. This week against the Cincinnati Bengals, I think he absolutely destroys the Bengals. The Bengals defense is terrible. This is the classic case of Sean McVay versus one of those guys that knows Sean McVay, so they get a fucking job in the NFL. I wish I knew Sean McVay because I want a job. I'd happily go 0-7 for a couple of millions of dollars. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to get absolutely eviscerated in this game by Jared Goff. by the hands of Sean McVay. At number 7, we have the Kyler Murray going up against the New Orleans Saints. Now, I know Kyler Murray last week shit the bed. He played fucking awful. This week, I think he has a bounce-back game up against the New Orleans Saints. I know you may say the New Orleans Saints defense looks good because the past couple of weeks they've been playing okay against the quarterback position, but I think Kyler Murray gets loose via his legs. He earns all those points with his legs, scoring those 10 points or 1 point per every 10 rushing yards. I think he puts up like 50 or 60 rush yards in this game. I think he plays pretty well against the New Orleans Saints. At number 8, we have Mr. Tom Brady going up against the Cleveland Browns. Now, this is a good matchup for Tom Brady. The Cleveland Browns defense has not looked all that hot. They don't look like the Cleveland Browns defense that we saw at the beginning of the season, or we thought we were going to see at the beginning of the season. Tom Brady's in for a big matchup here. Obviously, I think they may just get up early and commit to the run and just run it all the way down the defense's throat until Tom Brady leads them to 8-0 at the end of the game. That's probably what's going to happen, but I think Tom Brady will put up enough work at the beginning of the game to be worthy of a start here and be number 8 in fantasy football. At number 9, we have Mr. Gardner Minshew going up against the New York Football Jets. And you all know who's not going to be seeing ghosts in this game? Gardner Minshew. The only ghost that's going to be on the field is the body of Sam Darnold after the New York Football Jets fans jump over there in Jacksonville. They fly there and they murder his ass because of how bad he has looked thus far this season. Gardner Minshew's in for a huge matchup this week against the Jets. He got shut down a few weeks ago against the New Orleans Saints, but ever since then he's been playing back to his expectations, 16 plus fantasy points pretty much every single game. Gardner Minshew loves DJ Chark, and Gardner Minshew loves nothing more than scoring fantasy points, and I think this week is no exception. I got him at number 9 this week. At number 10, we have Mr. Jacoby Brissett going up against the Denver Broncos. Jacoby Moneybags is in for a big game this week against the Denver Broncos. This Denver Broncos defense is not the defense of a couple of years ago that led a Peyton Manning who needed a fucking wheelchair all the way to the Super Bowl, and they hoisted the Lombardi Trophy, and he went to go hug Papa John. This game is no different. That Denver defense is fucking terrible. Jacoby Brissett is going to go in there and shove his schlong straight down their throat. Jacoby Brissett is going to dominate in this game. The reason why he's not ranked higher is because they are committing to the run a decent amount. They like running the ball with Marlon Mack, so that obviously hurts Jacoby's value, but Jacoby is still a top 12 quarterback on the week. At number 11, we have Mr. Matthew Ryan going up against the Seattle Seahawks, and Matt Ryan is ranked so low due to the fact that he is injured. I'm not entirely sure he's playing in this game. Obviously, as you're watching this, you may know more than I know at Friday night in the middle of the night, but if Matt Ryan is good to go, he should be a definite good start here this week against the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, you're going to have to temper his expectations due to his injury, but I think he'll still be solid enough to play a good game this week against Seattle. And my final top 12 quarterback this week is famous Jameis going up against the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Tennessee Titans defense has been good all season, but really they're just best against the run. We saw last week they shut the door on Melvin Gordon on the 1-yard line, and the fucking Chargers couldn't really get it done all game. This game, even if Jameis throws 2 picks, I think he throws enough yards to make him worthy of being a top 12 quarterback this week. We saw 2 weeks ago in London, he threw like 6,000 yards and 5 picks and still had a good fantasy football game. Now on to 13 through 20. Now, if you guys have made it this far in the video and you ended up enjoying thus far, please make sure to click that subscribe button. It would really mean a lot to me, and it's also going to help you guys dominate your fantasy football season. At number 13, we have Mr. Daniel Jones going up against the Detroit Lions. Now, I know Daniel Jones had that one breakout game a couple of weeks ago and has not been playing well since. I think this game against the Detroit Lions, he took a couple L's, but he is going to bounce back against the Detroit Lions. I think he's going to be able to get loose with his legs and play a decent game here. I think that Mr. Marvin Jones, and by Marvin Jones, I mean Mr. Golden Tate, is going to be pissed off, and he's going to play hard in this revenge game, so I think that boosts Daniel Jones in this game. At number 14, we have Mr. Carson Wentz going up against the Buffalo Bills, and no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, and Carson Wentz is going to go absolutely in this game because he's ranked number 14. He's obviously a guy you're going to start, but the Buffalo Bills defense locked down the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, Tom Brady. I'm sure they would have actually locked down the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, Pat Mahomes, if they ever played, but Carson Wentz will still be fine this week. He's been playing okay thus far this season. I think that you can do a lot worse than Carson Wentz this week at number 14. At number 15, we have Mr. Teddy B. Teddy Roosevelt going against the Arizona Cardinals. And right now, I'm pretty sure Teddy B is going to play. They're going to let Breeze sit again. Next week, they got their bye. And then Breeze and Alvin Kamara are both going to come back. But this week, Teddy Bridgewater is in for a humongous matchup against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I do think that they're going to be up so high that they're going to be able to just run the ball with Latavius Murray very hard at the end of the game. But I think Teddy Bridgewater is able to get enough passing yards to accrue enough points to be a top 20 or top 15 quarterback in fantasy football this week. At number 16, we have Mr. Jimmy Handsome, Jimmy GQ, Jimmy Garoppolo going up against the Carolina Panthers. Now, the Panthers defense has looked pretty good thus far this season. Jimmy Garoppolo has not looked all that good this season. He pretty much scores like 13 fantasy points every single game, and you're just kind of depressed that you started him. But I think this game against the Carolina Panthers, they may have to throw a bit more, and I think Jimmy Garoppolo puts up a good enough game to warrant being number 16. At number 17, we have Mr. Ryan Tannehill going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I know, Nick, you're thinking, Nick, you fucking hate Ryan Tannehill. He screwed the Dolphins over for years. I know he screwed the Dolphins over for years. I was a Dolphins fan. He fucking sucked, and we just stuck with them for 7 goddamn years. But, this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think that the Titans try and win this game. They go hard in the paint, and this is a game Ryan Tannehill can win. It's not playing against the greatest defense. Ryan Tannehill can definitely let it loose and put up a solid game this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At number 18, we have Mr. Derek Carr going up against the Houston Texans. Now, I know last week Derek Carr did not play all that great against Green Bay. He ended up fumbling the ball through the end zone or whatever that shit is called where they give the ball back to the other team. He's done that before, and he says he will do it again because he doesn't give two shits about using two hands to hold the ball instead of using his fucking left hand when he's a righty. But Derek Carr in this game against Houston should be in for a pretty good matchup. I think Derek Carr puts up enough points to warrant him being a top 20 guy, but he's certainly not a guy that I'm wanting to throw and loving to throw in my lineup. At number 19, we have Phillip Rivers going against the Chicago Bears, and I hate no one more than Phillip Rivers recently in fantasy football. He has not been performing. They've been trying to run the ball. They've been trying to pass the ball, and nothing is working. They may have to fire their goddamn coach this week against the Chicago Bears. I think they really struggle in this game against the Bears, and that's why he's ranked number 19. And finally, at number 20, we have Mr. Mason Rudolph going against the Miami Dolphins. Whether he plays or Duck Hodges, I'm not sure. They could both be number 20 because the Miami defense is fucking terrible, and we know that regardless who the quarterback is, they will probably put up a top 20 week in fantasy football at the quarterback position, just based off the fact that the Dolphins defense is fucking terrible. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you ended up enjoying, if at any point you ended up chuckling, make sure to click that subscribe button, knock one time on that fucking like button. Have a great rest of your guys' goddamn day. I love each and every single one of you guys. I will see you guys later with another video. Goodbye.